Introducing Gambit by Snowkey Studios. This is a tactical board game that combines the best of Western chess, Chinese chess, and capture the flag into one game. The Gambit board is 11 tiles deep by 10 tiles wide. The middle row of the board is called the river, and it has 4 red flags that represent the capture points. Each player has 3 types of pieces: 5 footmen, 5 archers, and 5 knights, arrayed in a checker-style formation to start with the footmen in front, archers behind, and knights in the rear. The objective of the game is to outmaneuver and outwit your opponent, and achieve one of 3 victory conditions. The first win condition is to capture and hold 3 out of 4 of the capture points for 1 full turn. When a player secures 3 out of 4 flags, that is called check. If the opponent cannot push that player off the flags during their next turn, then that is checkmate and the game is over. The second win condition is annihilation. This is where you take and capture all enemy pieces. The player left standing is the victor. The third win condition is forfeit. This is where one player surrenders, conceding defeat. In Gambit, each piece has its own unique abilities and its own unique role. Footmen are a holding unit that are excellent at pinning down enemy pieces and controlling space. Footmen start in the first row for each player. Their movement changes depending on where they are on the board. When they are behind or at the river, footmen are less mobile and not as powerful. They can move forwards, sideways, or backwards 1 tile. The exception to this is the first turn for each footman, where they are allowed to move 2 tiles forward. Behind or at the river, footmen can capture pieces that are diagonally in front of them. Beyond the river, footmen can move forwards and backwards 1 extra tile. This can be useful where you use the footman to block an enemy piece and restrict its movement. Beyond the river, footmen can capture pieces diagonally 1 tile in any direction. Footmen have 2 special abilities in Gambit. The first ability is called the pushback or shield bash. A footman that starts the turn next to an enemy piece can push that piece in any cardinal direction. This can be forwards, backwards, or sideways. This can be especially useful to push enemy pieces into vulnerable positions from which they can be captured. It is also useful in pushing enemy pieces off capture points. This ability cannot be used when another piece is behind the target piece in the direction of the push. It can also not be used to push a piece off the board. Finally, if one player uses the pushback ability to push a select piece, the other player cannot push the piece back to the same position the next turn. The second special ability footmen have is called promotion. Where a footman reaches the enemy back row, it can be sacrificed and replaced by any friendly piece that has been captured. This piece can then be placed in any position in the first 3 rows on your side of the board. This can be useful where you want to restore a particular piece, such as a knight, or to reinforce another part of the board. Footmen are your frontline force that can be very powerful when pushed beyond the river. But be careful, as left isolated they can be picked apart by enemy forces. Archers are a defensive force that work well when screened by friendly forces. Archers start in the second row for each player. When they are behind the river, archers can move forwards, sideways, and backwards up to 2 tiles, as well as diagonal 1 tile in any direction. Beyond the river, archers can move 1 tile in any direction, including forwards, backwards, sideways, and diagonal. Archers are a support unit and can only capture pieces when using their special ability, the long shot. Where there is an enemy piece 3 tiles in front of an archer, and there is another piece, friend or foe, between the 2 pieces, the archer can take that enemy piece. This applies if the piece is 3 tiles in front or 2 tiles in front. This ability also applies sideways and backwards, but only up to 2 tiles away. This piece, then, can be taken, but this piece cannot. And neither can this one. The longshot ability can be used anywhere on the board. However, there is one exception. An archer cannot jump over more than 2 pieces at the same time. This only applies when longshot is being used forward, and there are 2 pieces between the archer and the target. That means the archer can take this piece, but cannot take this piece. Archers are a strong defensive force that work best in combination with your other pieces. They are particularly strong in denying space. But be careful, they are vulnerable to attacks from the sides and from behind. Knights are an offensive force that work well outflanking enemy formations and engaging in hit-and-run attacks. These are your most mobile pieces. Knights start in the 3rd row for each player. They move like Western chess in an L shape and can jump over enemy and allied pieces. If a knight lands on an enemy piece at the end of its L-shaped move, it can capture it. Unlike Western chess, In Gambit, the knight must move 2 tiles in one direction and then 1 tile in another. This means that the knight in this scenario can move here or here, but it cannot move here or here, as that would mean moving in one direction 1 tile and then in another direction 2 tiles. Further, if any piece, friendly or foe, is on the first tile in the L-shaped move, the knight is blocked from moving in that direction. This is called cutting the leg, and it is similar to Chinese chess. This weakness can be used against a knight by an opponent. For example, the knight here is threatening 2 archers with a fork. By moving a footman forward, the opponent has effectively blocked the knight from taking either archer. In this other example, this knight can take the footman here, but it is blocked from taking the archer here. In the same fashion, this knight has been trapped, and because the first tile in every direction is blocked, it effectively cannot move. So while the knight is your most powerful piece, be careful how you use it, lest you fall into an enemy trap. We have many more videos planned, taking you through how to learn and then master Gambit. Keep tuned, and we look forward to seeing you on the battlefield.